Hello all young coders. In this particular video, I'll be discussing a topic in Python that how to swap the values of two variables. So the user will be asked to give a value for number 1 and then a number 2 that will be stored within variable, and these numbers are to be swapped. So how to do so? We can do it using a third variable or using the sum method. So here I won't be using any IDE installed in my computer. I will be using online GDB compiler. So let's search for online GDB compiler, and here we will be running our testing our code. So now let's select the language for Python 3 and quickly remove the these particular comments. So Control A, backspace. Okay, fine. So num1 equal to input, and the user will be asked, please enter value for num1. Fine. So now, as we all know that Python takes user input in string format, so I will be typecasting it using integer. So int is to, I will be converting the string, that is input is takes the value from the user in string format, and I will be typecasting it to integer, and then I will be using num2. Again, let me copy the line from above this, from this the first line, and paste it in here, and instead of num1 I will be writing num2. So now here we will be using the sum method. So what I will be doing is that num3 or num3 equal to num1 plus num2. Now let's use formatted string. Printf the swapped values for num1 is, within curly braces, num3 minus num1, and for num2 num3 minus num2. Fine. So let me close the semicolon. Fine. Let's run the program and see how it works. Run. So please enter the value for number 1, maybe 33, and number 2 43. So the value is 43 and 33. So this is using the sum method. We can do the same program using, let me comment out, let's try for control slash. Yeah, it comments out. Control slash is to comment these two lines. So here we can simply do like using a third variable to swap the values. So what we will be doing is that we will be num3 equal to num1. So now num1 value is copied. We can easily now say that num1 equal to num2. So I am storing the value of num1 within num3. Fine. Now since we are storing the value of num1 within another variable, we can do whatever thing we want to do with num1. So what I am doing is that I am overwriting the num1 values to num2, but the num1 value is lost. So how can I just assign num2 equal to, I need someone so that I need to hold it in another variable so that we can put that value within this num2. So I have already copied the value in the first line num1, and I have stored it in num3. So now we can simply write num1. So first num1 equal to num2 and num2 equal to num1. So this is a way out. So and again we can just use this line, formatted string, control C, and here control V. So instead of num3 and num1, we will be simply pasting it as it is. So num1, that is we are having a new value as we have swapped it in here. Here is the logic, and here I will be writing num2. Okay, fine. So let me run the code. In the console it's not working still now. Okay, please enter the value for num1, 45, 45, yeah, 45, enter the value for num2, maybe 2, only 2. So the value for number 1 is 2 and number 4 is also 2. Okay, so I have number 1, num2, fine. Okay, so both the numbers are showing 2 and 2. So num1, okay, fine, num1 equal to num2, this won't be num1, so this will be num3, my bad. So let me again discuss. So we are holding the value, we are just putting the value of num1 in another in another variable. So now since we have kept aside the value of number 1, we can do whatever we want to do with num1. So whatever we are doing with num1 is that we are placing the value of num2 within num1. Now num2 has to be the value for number 1, and we had already earlier stored it inside number 3. So simply num2 equal to num3. That's the swapping logic. Now let's run the code. Okay, so now please enter the value for num1, 54, and it will be 6. The value for num1 is 6 and for num2 is 54. But Python has another beauty that it can change, it can swap the values then and there. So then and there means simply we will be writing num1 comma num2, and what we will be doing is that we will be simply writing equal to, and it will be num2 comma num1. That's it. So we don't need any variable as such as we were. So here we let's first of all run the code, and then we can say that we have achieved 3 ways of swapping the values. So maybe 77 and the value is 8. So the values for num1 is 8 and num2 for 77. Let's make this code a little bit interesting, that there are no try except. So what if the user gives a value such as ABC? So the value for num1 may be A. So Python is showing some error to the user. This error, whatever it is showing, it is gibberish. He won't be able, the user who is using this won't be able to understand. So here we will be wrapping this code inside try and except. So try, so Python will be trying this tab, and if it fails, it will simply say except printf, sorry, print please check please give numeric input. Fine. So numeric input, not decimal input. So let me run the code one more time. Please enter the value for number 1, A. So here it is showing, please give numeric input. This is the warning which will be shown. Fine. Let's again run the code, and this time we'll be giving the value for num1 88 and for the value for num2 3. Okay, so it's running properly. Now let's give value for number 2, something like character. So we'll be giving G. So again there is a error, please give numeric input. So these are the ways in which you can swap values of two variable, but this has to be kept in mind that while writing your code, you have to also keep in mind any kind of erroneous input that might occur while taking the user given input, and you need to work accordingly, so that you need to work accordingly, so that you need to think of all the possibilities of the error that might creep into, and you need to wrap them and make, think of a way so that the program doesn't crash. And lastly, we did it using a third variable, using sum method, and using a third variable. So here in this one I used a third variable, and the beauty of Python, in the same line then and there we can swap the variables. So that's all for this short video tutorial. Try it out. Use online GDB compiler. It is yes, you do need a active internet connection if you want to work in online GDB compiler. That's all for this video session. Thank you all guys, and happy coding.